Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I am Talia Tees and we are ready to get talkative. Yes, we are new here. This is our very first episode, so we are super excited to bring lighthearted, funny content regarding some of today's hottest shows out there. So please do not hesitate. Like, comment, subscribe, talk to us, let us know what you think, let us know how you're feeling, and please hit that notification bell so that way you'll always know when Talia's on here spilling that tea. So let's go ahead and get talkative. So we are back. I hope you have your boots, your scarf, your sweater, your gloves, because we are making our way through the frozen tundra that is the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Yes, they are back. They have returned in their sophomore year. Yes, this is their second season. And if you were following last year, these women brought it. Most of the times, those first seasons can be a little slow and it can take a while for it to really catch on, but not these ladies. They came to let go and let have. So let's start off with the beginning. We open up with the ladies on the parking lot of Beauty Lab, Heather's multi-million-dollar company. So all the girls are basically all giddy and happy because it looks like they're about to possibly embark on some type of a road trip. So Jen, she comes down and baby girl has some box braids. Now, I'm not going to lie, these look nice. But if you recall last year, Jen is one of the sisters. She said up in Salt Lake City, they don't know nothing about nothing but white and black. So if you ain't white, baby, you black. So she went and got some black girl box braids, and I am here for them. They look so good, Jen. So as the ladies continue loading, Jen receives a phone call, and you know how she is. Hey, baby. Yeah, we're at the Beauty Lab in the parking lot. So as we get a bunch of, wait. Okay, wait. Oh, okay. She's looking to and fro. My girl just looks sick. So she reaches over to Whitney and says, hey, can you turn this off? Can you turn this off? Referring to her mic pack. So at this point, even the fake spray tan can't help the paleness that has now occupied her face, because Jen literally looks like she's seen a ghost at this point. So she goes to Heather and basically tells her, I just got a call. I got to go. Heather's like, yeah, I can feel the shift in your energy. Something definitely is wrong. So Jen quickly gathers her belongings and gets the hell out of Dodge. 12 minutes later, however, the Salt Lake City Police Department has Beauty Lab swarmed. It's sirens blazing. We got car units everywhere. The choppers flying above. And they're looking for Jen Shaw. So Heather goes, what if she's on the run? And yeah, she's a runner. She's a track star. Yeah, this is exactly what this is, baby. And Lisa goes, how did they know where she was? So then as they roll on, the news article breaks. Jen Shaw has been charged in a massive money laundering scheme. Wow. So we get this big collage of all sorts of things showing the Shaw Chalet being raided. We see other women discussing the case. It's given us a real Housewives of Beverly Hills-esque feel, because that's pretty much what they're going through right now. There were concerns when people start having legal trouble. People that, have a little something to lose, they start worrying. Like, will me being around you have affected me in any way? Because I don't want to be caught up in litigation. So it's going to be real. Now, over at Meredith's place, we see her opening up, dressing her dog in this cute little purple little sweater thing. It actually was adorable. And Heather arrives fresh off the slopes. And it's so funny because when she walked through the door, I was like, damn, did she just get done skiing? And sure enough, she said she just got done skiing. I love it. It is a totally different way of life over up in those parts. So Meredith and Seth has also moved like the Shaws did. And, they wanted to kind of refresh or restart things. And also Seth gets the opportunity to spend more time in Salt Lake City, because we know that was definitely a strain on their relationship last year. So they said they're enjoying each other's company, and I'm, happy to see that they're back on track. Now, Heather reveals that her daughter is having senior night, and basically they're starting to have to plan for her future. So I just want to say here that these flashbacks of Heather are everything. Like, ladies of Salt Lake City, what did y'all do? My God. Like, what on earth caused her jawline to just become so angular and harsh and just masculine in that way? But, in these pictures, although we can tell it's her, it's just a different girl. But we love you over here, Heather. You are probably, even though we're non-biased, she's probably my favorite one on this whole cast. So Heather just basically continues to just talk about how, she wants her daughter to have, just a carefree life. She got a reputation last year of being a good time girl, but didn't even get to actually have the good times that the girls was having back in high school and college. So she said she want her daughter to live her best college whole life, and she want her to be a good time girl and enjoy it, own it, and wear that badge proud. So now that sounds absolutely insane, but coming from somebody who was very deeply rooted in that Mormon lifestyle, I get where Heather's coming from. And she wants her daughters to be completely free in every aspect, including sexuality. And that's dope. I'm with you, Heather. Alrighty, so we go down to Whitney's house, and she's getting ready for the hot tub party. So we see some grown-ass men start walking into the house, and we come to find out that those are actually Justin's kids, Heather's husband, or excuse me, Whitney's husband. So her stepsons and her are extremely close in age. So she takes a shot with them and then starts to kind of talk about how she's expanding her Wild Rose brand with some skin oils. And she talks about how she's happy to see that her stepsons see her hustling, and, it can kind of, inspire them, but also give her a little bit of respect because she is hustling. She also takes the time to reveal to us that she's so happy that she can now retire her mouth and make her own money. Okay, Whitney. So then she attempts to take the cake outside, to which she drops not once, not twice, but 3 times, and picks it up off the floor and takes it outside and serves them people that cake. So that's all I really got for that little scene. So we know that high-pitched, ethereal singing is definitely an indication that we are about to enter into the house of the Lord. So we see the Pentecostal signage, and all up and through, all we see is signs of COVID. There's not a soul in there. Everything is plastic wrapped. But the First Lady, Miss Mary M. Cosby, emerges from the whip and walks in like a boss. Now, Mary was definitely one of the fan faves last year because she had this amazing storyline that she married her grandfather. That's right. To secure the family wealth, she married her grandmother's last husband. And even went as far as to say that was her grandma's dying wish. But anywho, she revealed to us that her granddaddy, Robert Sr., got stuck in Florida, and he refused to fly because of COVID. So pretty much for the first 6 months of the pandemic, it was just her and Robert Jr. And she said it got so bad that she started talking to herself, talking to the mannequins, and she decided, well, let me do a podcast. So she, started doing it. And I'm going to be honest with you, Mary is not a wordsmith. She's not very articulate, and I don't know if this is her avenue. But she asked Sean to say a prayer, and Sean was letting the Holy Spirit just move through him, and Mary was like, no ma'am, no sir. That is not how you do it. Let me show you how it's done. So Mary gets on the mic and she does her little prayer and then sits back proud as a peacock because she got that right line connection to God. Go on ahead, Mary. So then they start talking about kids, and she started talking about her son and slips up and says she just really would like to beat his ass, but then caught herself because, Child Protective Services and all that thing. Then she goes on to say that, I just really need Robert Jr. to become successful because I'm not taking care of him for the rest of his life, and I won't. Well, damn. She said, I'm not and I won't. So I need him to be successful to get this liability out of my hands. Tell the truth and shame the devil, Pastor Cosby. So Mary then goes on to let us know that, back in the day, she used to smoke on blunts. And as quiet as it's kept, I think she's still hitting that motherfucker because the way she acts, there's no way. There's no way. There is sobriety all up and through there. But she goes on to, kind of talk about how, she never felt like she fit in the world. She never really received love from humans. So that's why she doesn't trust them. So it wasn't until she came, to God that she feel like things started happening for her. And she feels like, she was born, as she said, for my God. So she's here to spread the gospel. And apparently she's got people there to receive it. Amen. We get to meet our newest housewife, Jenny, and she's super cute. I believe they said she's from Vietnam, so she's Vietnamese. And her and Lisa are friends, and they say that they met each other while their boys were young, and they actually became really good friends. And come to find out, once they started talking to each other, they realized that the both of them were pregnant. So they kind of bonded in a way. So Lisa comes over, and all the kids are hanging out. And Jenny tells this, really cute story of how her father had to lower her age by 2 years when they came to the United States in order to get her into kindergarten. So as a result, she's a lot younger on paper, 2 years younger to be exact. And she tends to have to do a little bit of mental math when asked her age. So it was really funny how, she was like, wait a minute, I'm actually 43, So Jenny and her husband also started to kind of talk to the kids about their migration, from Vietnam. And it was really intriguing. They had to get on these boats, and they talked about how they would have to be, underwater for like 3 days at a time. But their specific boat was actually captured by the Thai army. So they were held captive. But then a Christian organization came through and were able to basically take them and sponsor them. They came to the United States and settled in California. Now, when she met her husband, he was Catholic, so she switched to Catholicism when she married him. But then she goes into this very interesting story about how they met. So she met through her current sister-in-law, and basically she hooked them up on a blind date. This girl straight says that she was impressed from the neck down, but from the neck up, so basically she was saying, yeah, he was ugly as hell, but everything else from the neck down was good, and he was a doctor. So I just went with it, and we've been together ever since. Now, how would you feel if if your spouse literally was on TV talking about some, when I met him, that face was whooped, but I went ahead and went with it because he had that bag and that body. Like, that's horrible. But nonetheless, welcome, Jenny. So we're back at Sha Chalet. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. But Sha Chalet 2.0 and the infamous aunt, the one that smelled like hospital, according to Mary M. Cosby, Miss Auntie Nani. Yes, baby, she came through with her bionic legs and her little walker. And it's nice to see, a face with a name, because Jen went hard for her last year when Mary said what she had said about her smelling like hospital. So it is just so nice to be able to see this woman and confirm that she actually don't smell like hospital, because according to Jen, she smelled real expensive. Not expensive, but expensive. So while Jen uses a calculator to determine how old her child is, in fact, the family begins to gather around, and Nani begins to express her gratitude and her thanks for bringing them all together and for the things that specifically Sharif, Coach Shah, does to kind of keep the family together. At this moment, Jen kind of, takes a moment to explain that the family really looks at them as the backbone. Now that her father has died, there's no grandparents around. They have pretty much emerged as the leaders of the family. So when things are not right with them, it's kind of like a trickle down effect. It's not right with anybody because, again, we're looking to you all. So if you all aren't right, we aren't right. So the scene ends with them all just, shoveling food onto their plates. It makes me hungry. And Coach Shah just being him. I tell you, this man has side boy fare. I got to look up when his birthday is because I want to put money on it that this man is a Libra male. The way he talks, the way he acts, I just want to put money on it. Drop down in the comments if y'all know when Coach Shah, aka Sharif or Reefy, was born. I want to know because I feel like he's definitely giving me Libra vibes. So we open back up with Mary sitting at, it looks like a restaurant. They use, I guess, these greenhouse looking structures for seating. So she's sitting there alone and she's talking to herself. So I guess that doesn't just stay in the house. She also does it out in public. Heather walks in, they greet each other, give each other hugs, and then Meredith and Whitney soon follow. So the ladies get seated and they're catching up, and Meredith reveals to the group that she recently lost her father. And although, he had been sick for a long time and battling dementia, it still became, a really tough thing to deal with when he transitioned physically. So, she's just been really going through it. The food comes out, they pray, and they all kind of start talking about who they've seen and who they've been around since, they've all last connected. Heather mentions that she has not talked to Jen and that Jen has been online pretty much saying or liking and reposting things that imply that Heather is a racist. And Mary, as quirky as she is, she always seems to make sense as it relates to other people's affairs. Because she goes on to say, just flat out, the way Mary dogs Heather out, or excuse me, the way Jen dogs Heather out, it just really doesn't make sense how they could be friends. And it's the truth. So then they go on, and Meredith also brings up that Jen has been liking and reposting things that have homophobic tones in reference to her son Brooks. And she says that, basically Jen is just bullying him and terrorizing her family, and that Brooks hasn't said one way or another what he prefers, and that he's just trying to figure it out, leave him alone. Now, I probably would have left that last part out, but, basically Meredith is just really over her. When you talk about people's kids, it's hard to come back from that. Now, Meredith, with all this considered, is just so confused why Lisa is just so ready to be an ally with Jen. It's just hard for her to wrap her head around that. But at the end of the day, all things considered, she understands Jen needs a friend. So, hey, it is what it is. So we're back in Meredith's house, and they're basically waiting on Lisa's family. Brooks is here, so this is our first time getting to see her son. Also, Seth is here, so they're helping her prepare. They're going to celebrate the Shabbat in honor of the Sabbath. Now, Meredith, with her father recently passing away, she just wants to kind of uplift and honor family a little bit more. It's very important. And, even though she's a little hurt by her friend Lisa now, she recognizes that is a 10-year friendship. So, all things aside, she just wants her over there to celebrate and, for the holidays. So they arrive and, they greet each other, the families all collectively. And Lisa and Meredith just kind of talk about how, Meredith has been handling, the passing of her father. And they kind of show us this moment that her and Seth had that was really emotional and just really kind of sad. Losing parents, That's just something that I've never had to experience, and I'm so grateful, but I'm sure it's something that it's so hard to probably explain, deal with, cope with, etc. So, my heart goes out to her. So once they kind of, get all of their, kids up and around the table and, they start greeting each other, Lisa and Meredith kind of go off to the couch and they just start talking. And it's really funny because as this conversation persists, they become very loud, but everyone just kind of continues in the background as they're just hashing it out. So they started kind of talking about, what happened at the meeting with Mary, Whitney, and Heather. And Meredith tells Lisa that Heather wants to apologize to her. So Lisa kind of takes that as an opportunity to ask if she would be willing to do that with Jen and accept an apology from her. Would you be willing to have that conversation? If she gave you that genuine apology, how would you feel about that friendship and pursuing it, But Meredith says she wants an apology. She definitely wants an apology, but I don't think an apology is really going to fix this. I think that unfortunately she has crossed a point of no return in Meredith's mind, messing with her son. It's just natural. I'm a mother. Somebody went online, started doing my baby like that. I don't know how I could forgive him either. Whether, she started it or not, it's still a kid. Relax. So Meredith just ain't having it. So Lisa, basically feels like, she should still try. But Meredith just doesn't understand how she doesn't get that this is like literally basic level friendship 101 stuff. Like, you just don't do these type of things, so I can't be friends with people that do that is basically what she's saying. Now at this point, Lisa is pretty much just outright refusing to bend in any way and see it, from Meredith's perspective. But, Meredith feels like, like she said, it's an unwarranted vendetta against her family. And this situation is not nearly the same. You and Heather are arguing about who knew who back in college. This girl is online talking about my son, And it's like, Meredith said something that was really, profound. She said it's almost like Lisa's trying to protect herself in some way because she's just outright refusing to acknowledge the things that Lisa is doing. She's offered to send her screenshots of things that she has reposted online in regards to Brooks, and she just doesn't want to take it, and I can imagine that's super duper hurtful, a 10-year friendship and you choosing her over me, like, essentially. But then they go on and they do a tribute to Meredith's dad and say a prayer, and then they all break bread, and that's the end. So what do you guys think about this first episode? I think it had a lot going on. I think it was pretty decent. I thought it was awesome that the new cast member was shown on the first episode. That also happened on Potomac this year, I believe. So that's awesome. The newbies usually don't get no shine to the third or fourth episode. So that's really, really cool. And who do you think tipped off the feds? I know we don't really have a lot of information now, but the way they edited, the trailers, who do you think was the one that told the feds or implied or had something to do with this indictment? Or do you think anyone had anything to do with it? And also, what do you think about the shift in the friend dynamics? Heather and Jen were very, very close last year, as was Lisa and Meredith. And now I think that there's a little tension. Well, a lot of tension on one end, but, it's definitely a difference from last year. So drop down in the comments. Let me know what you thought. Also, don't forget to like the video if you haven't already. And please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification button so that you know when Talia is dropping that tea. Thank you so much for being talkative with me. And until next time, have a great evening. Good night.